Hola a todos, bienvenidos a un nuevo para el canal. Aquí su cuate Danker Games X89 para el canal. Y hoy toca un video nuevo del Dankerverse Impact. Vamos a continuar el lore, vamos a ver qué ocurre y ver cómo va a ser. ¡Ah, carajo! Maldita energía. Así vamos a ver cómo anda esto. La última vez estuvimos con Navi en este lugar y bueno, nos tocaba visitar a la familia, investigar el complot, ver si el verdadero villano de todo esto es uno de los que está aquí. O sea, patearle la madre, pero bueno. Vamos a ver. Aunque viendo que mi mamita Shogun está muy mal, vamos a sustituirla por otro, ¿eh? Aunque ahora que lo pienso, demos un segundito. Ahora sí, me cago en todo, el Shao también está.
Let's go. Need my help?
Vamos ahí. Ya, vamos ahí. No puedo creerlo.
It is settled then. Please excuse me and enjoy your conversation at your leisure.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss.
Oh,
Hey, Navi is all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
No digas nada. Déjala en paz,
I'm
campanita.
sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened...
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rusula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes with losing a father so needlessly.
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring...
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to carry all that guilt. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father could ever bring himself to shoot Jacques.
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought Mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-ups.
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion.
Puede que no sea así, ¿eh?
Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away.
Joder, esta
Even
maldita
if
energía.
he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what...
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man.
Well, things aren't always as they seem.
Yeah, Papa was a...
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword.
Oh,
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth.
Thank you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really...
You really think so? That's the first time anyone said that to me.
Bien. Otra pista, perfecto. Por cierto, antes de continuar, mañana voy a hacer el video de esto, del evento este, porque me dijeron que era historia. Este creo que no, este creo que es simplemente un evento extra, así que no lo voy a grabar. Este sí, ya que me interesa. Con respecto a mis protos, vamos así. Y básicamente de PT ya voy al PT 50. Nuestro objetivo de ese banner simplemente es toma. Pero si sacamos el último Toshiro, o sea, Chonjun, lo dejo ahí. ¿Ya? Mi objetivo no es el 5 estrellas. Por ahora no. Pero es increíble que toma... se me resiste tanto, la verdad.
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city.
Bueno, vamos a seguir con esto.
I'll get myself together on the way. So...
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House? Someone got turned into water right in front of us.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside. After my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen his case. Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So, after that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. My first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis...
So you also remember 2 gunshots?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a third person there who was turned into water?
Es probable. De hecho, es lo más posible. Por eso estamos buscando las respuestas, viejo.
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callis ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with any of us? He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. So, I think I can understand why I'll tell you everything once the...
I understand. Then, I'll leave Mr. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callis the Unfaithful epithet. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callis, but it was Mr. Callis's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina, no matter what others might say. He'll always be the man I...
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well.
Bueno, sigamos. Otro testimonio. Siguiente. Para la chucha, ¿no? Y después tengo que ir sacando TP y wea más encima. Muy bien.
Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Oh, so you've caught news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callis did a fantastic job running the town. Buildings, it would be next to impossible for me to find a similar... Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two...
Yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Linny's case and...
Ah, I get it. You think there might be... If you want to go through the original file...
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't Why do you ask? We definitely can't use...
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do is get rid of the mecha serial numbers and send them after me.
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich.
Ahora entiendo.
Oh. Then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, thank you. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me.
Bien, otro fuera. Solo nos queda el último. Hasta el último. Bueno, vamos a ir para acá. Ah, el otro está ahí en el agua. Vale. Entiendo. Si sigo ese punto, puedo utilizar el teletransportador. Es la última.
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You can... Sure.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened.
Yes, I've never seen anything so strange.
Oh, you were at the Opera House too?
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic. I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can...
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkard.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right?
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away.
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof.
Oh,
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the prime... If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking to you right...
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you who protected us?
alas, it seems things are heating up again. But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will... If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabriere will...
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't... Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet. So I was out and about the whole time. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some.
Sounds good. Just let me know if all my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend...
Este quizás es más sospechoso, ¿eh? Eso de que no se acuerde se me hace sospechoso esa wea. Bien, puedo subir, ¿no?
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
No me pareció que ninguno fuera el causante. Sin embargo, el último viejo me dio algo que pensar, ¿eh?
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case for so many years. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's do...
But where should we start?
Por el jeques.
Ah, you're right! Florent mentioned that Callus...
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Pero ¿qué ganaba con eso?
Oh? And why is that?
Matar a él era garantía de que él siguiera vivo.
Oh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for...
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the order and seek protection from my father.
La tercera persona fue la causante, al igual que en este caso.
Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just... Besides, Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering... It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since... But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe that's how he got to know Jacques. And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. Still really hard for me to imagine, though. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business?
Entonces intentamos con otro.
Florent? It is true that he was... But as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work...
So you're saying he's too broke?
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be able...
Entonces debe ser otra.
Thierry, you say? But I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking...
Yeah. Had he actually... If the mecha were taken from the...
Who could it be?
Creo que... ¿Viste? Es él.
You know, if you think everything through...
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others trustworthy. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch mecha to... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Al fin y al cabo es cercano a ti, pero no a mí. Yo sí puedo pensarlo, ¿crees?
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extreme. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go...
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been
¿Qué
looking...
rayos?
Aren't you the guy?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left.
Wasn't that place built specifically for...
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
¿A juez? Voy a evitar esto.
Is that someone you...
Sí.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit.
Wait, how?
That's what I thought was if the charge against him stands, then...
Right. Because they'll think they've already
Yeah. And...
I understand.
Voy a ir a ayudarlo. Separémonos.
Split up?
Iré a ayudarlo.
What do you mean?
Tú vas a la y yo iré a ese lugar.
Just as expected of... Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, you're right. This is our best opportunity. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be...
Tranquila, yo me haré cargo.
Just like you helped us in Lenny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver. When did you two get...
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson. It's our hope that you're...
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Aaron.
See you then.
Bien, en marcha.
Now that Navia has set out for Aranias, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance.
¿Qué rayos?
Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base.
Los voceros estarán en el
You're
interior.
right. An important place like this, Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now.
Mientras tanto, la ópera.
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr.
Tal vez
Tartaglia.
debería reputar mi pregunta, señor
Do
juez.
you accept the charge that you are the
¿Acepta los
true
cargos
culprit
que se le
behind
dan
the
por
serial
las chicas
disappearances?
To be
desaparecidas?
perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to... In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorent, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointment.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the in that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man. Huh? What's going... What?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings, but that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with
Muy bien.
contempt of court
La vez
for your
pasada, porque estaba en mi
interjections.
otra versión, fui benevolente. Ahora no está, así que no puedo protegerte en nada. ¿Quiere que la acuse de descarto al tribunal?
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default. Correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted.
Siéntese en el público. Eso no significa que estés libre de todo.
Now then, Miss Navia.
¿A quién quiero acusar?
That person is...
¡A Dieguenzo! Voy a acusar a Dieguenzo. Ve que Juez bajó su nivel de poder.
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabriere. Huh? What con...
I've heard of them, but what?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it.
Quiero que sepa algo. Acusar a alguien es de... básicamente algo muy grave y tendrá que usted hacerse cargo.
And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge this man?
Si todo esto sale mal, podría ser de difamación y podría ser juzgada. ¿Desea proseguir?
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court.
Entonces dígase a la corte con sus abogados.
Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial.
Llamen al señor Marcel para que acuda al tribunal lo más pronto posible.
Mr. Marcel, you will not require...
Apologies. It all just happened. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is...
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
Ya que ambas están aquí, por favor, presente los cargos.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial...
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on. Why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and if that's enough to make me a suspect...
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage.
En vista de la situación, yo narraré lo que ocurrió en esa ocasión.
On the day of the murder,
¡Por la cresta! ¿Y yo dónde estoy? Yo debería estar peleando, agarrándome el madrazo. Aquel día, los miembros de las Espina di Rosula estaban reunidos, divididos en el banquete celebrado en el campo de Cofrea Cabrera. En un momento del banquete, todos los invitados oyeron disparos. Cuando llegaron a la escena, el sospechoso Calas tenía una pistola en la mano y el otro estaba muerto por una bala. Cuando la guardia investigó el crimen, no encontró una segunda pistola y pensó que el primer disparo no acertó y fue el que mató a Jaques. El sospechoso negó estas conclusiones y tampoco la rebatió, sino que decidió defender su honor en un duelo. La perdió contra Clorinde y murió. Fin de la historia. Bien, tengo que cagar el juicio de nuevo.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the... in truth, the third person shot Jacques first. After that, the true culprit turned the third person... Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time.
Gracias, señoría. En aquel momento todos pensaban que era la única conclusión posible, pero...
However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea.
¡Mi turno!
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts. However, in the end, he reconsidered. Unfortunately for Jacques, the first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for... A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once... But now, it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the... Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use... Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous...
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
Señor Marcel, usted es el acusado. Es hora de que se defienda.
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? 1. Do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not.
Boo!
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. We should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all...
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a...
Why do I feel like Farina's...
Maybe she's scared of him. Alternatively, she's become more diligent.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth, then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least
I thought about this too. The dissolving power of water from the My father could have exposed it for all to... At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. What was certain, however...
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have... Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter. But what good would that do? How had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice? Spina di Rosula would have... But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue the sale. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand...
So, during the duel, did you...
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for just one look, and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live, or if I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link.
Right? What she said was fat.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial...
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques, and at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already... Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and...
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most...
No need to appeal to pain.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, on top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? much she can say to... I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of... But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Do you know what the biggest flaw...
I suppose you...
It's timing. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young... In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was... But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, Demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like... You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the...
Seems like she got the wrong...
At this rate, Navia will...
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings, but aren't you going against all of his wish? He wished for you to become more rational. Collect once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong...
Ay, yo le pego al viejo Julián.
And it never has been. The biggest difference between the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, many people's images are, and whose image? Is it a man named Vash? Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd...
I was waiting for you to say that.
Es mi turno. Después de toda la caga con el juicio, ahora por fin me toca la acción, a pelear, a agarrarme a camorrazo. He estado esperando 4 capítulos a agarrarme a cacho con alguien. ¿Y ahora qué chucha hago? Ajuste de equipo. Estoy bien. Por fin me puedo agarrar a putazo con algo. ¡Bankai! Ahora demostraré lo que he obtenido en mis entrenamientos. ¡Ave Fénix! Lo siento. Ahora soy mucho más poderoso que antes.
The floor is going up. Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
Ah, me tengo que asustar. Me pregunto qué es todo este lugar.
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
¿Eh? Ahí está. Bien, según lo que era así, ¿no? Pues sí. ¿Se está llenando?
The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Deja de tonterías, Paimon. Yo me haré cargo. Así que ustedes, ¿ah?
Be still.
Maldita desgraciado.
Time to get serious.
Everybody stand back. Can't handle your drink.
¡Fénix! ¡Come again!
Cascade.
Uy, casi 20k, ¿eh? Lo sabía. Para sacar todo el potencial de allá, tengo que usar mi equipo agorizado. Esa es la mejor opción. Bon Kai. No me he estado entrenando para nada estos 2 meses. Me entrené para esto. Phoenix, come again. Bien, según esto no se ha terminado. Siento que esto es solo el principio de algo peor. El agua se está elevando aún más.
Now the path is clear. Let's go.
¡Ay! Acá no hay nada, ¿verdad? No. ¿Qué rayos son esas cosas?
I'm a rock. Diana special.
Teamwork is strict. Why do they never miss?
¡Bakai! Aquí los tengo. ¿Qué caso es una Gatling? No seas ridículo, si quieres que con eso me vas a dar miedo, estás equivocado.
Be still.
Me la complicaron un poco, ¿eh? Con Shogun no tendría este problema, pero bueno. Bien, tiene que ser aquí.
After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum.
Parecen unas
As
ruinas antiguas.
expected, the mastermind isn't here.
Si nuestra hipótesis es cierta, es bueno que no esté aquí.
That's right.
Bien, según esto... Aquí está.
What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box.
Y tienen nombres.
Paimon sees it too, but
Deben ser las víctimas de las depresiones.
you mean the girls from the cereal? And then they were and all the boxes of things. These names.
Lo tenemos.
Whoa! There's so much synth here, and so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain.
Hay muchísimas.
Mixing in progress. Whoa! There's even fruit flavored synth.
Parece que aquí es donde hacen el cinque.
It's super. What's this over here? Looks like some kind of experiment. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea.
Tranquilízate.
Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. How can someone write something that terrible? You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's what. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over?
Tranquilízate.
It's insane.
Y está el nombre de Basher.
Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case.
Basher debe ser el sujeto del experimento.
You mean Vache is the one who did all of these experiments?
Si me parece el lugar de laboratorio.
So that's it. No, that's not it either. If that's the case,
Hay algo
in
más que
any
se nos
case,
escapa.
oh, look! There's an important looking basin over here, and it's full of water.
Será el mar primigenio.
This is where they make all the synth, and that special water is the main ingredient. If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth. Paimon will take notes of.
Bien.
Let's see what's written here. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be
Debe ser investigación de su caso.
Yep. It's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques and Callus. This should prove the existence of the third person, right?
¿Qué más pone?
We still have not to... The old dog's a real menace to deal with. He can act whenever he wants to make... I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups.
Así que nuestra hipótesis era correcta.
We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our theories...
¿Quién es Basher?
We haven't found anything that... No wonder even Neuvillette wasn't able to find anything. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit.
Era una persona muy astuta. Bien.
You take that side, and Paimon will take this side. Check everything carefully.
Un rato después.
Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either.
He encontrado esto.
Let Paimon see. Vinier. Isn't that Vache's lovers? Then you found her diary. Aw. It's just a normal...
Mira esta página.
So many. Oh, the final name she... Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Oh, has
Yo
this...
tengo la respuesta. Hay que irnos.
And whose image do you see? Is it a man named Vache? Oh, so
I've merely surprised.
I was waiting for you.
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my part.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
Por favor, ¿cuántas veces más van a interrumpir?
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence,
Dices que no conoces el bosque de Basher. ¡Porque tú eres Basher!
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Tú eres Basher.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair. We already know everything. After your lover, Vinier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you. You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past, well, Marcel, you fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, and so you never noticed how
You also never understood Boss's real expectation.
Or our determination to see things through.
You're determined.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on to the
Señor,
next
si
stage.
tiene algo que objetar, es un momento. Si no, pasaré a la siguiente parte del juicio, donde lo intimidaré con violencia.
Do you really think I wanted to do any... Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, they said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice. Your Benier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes. But I'm not from this blasted place.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve. Do you all see? I can't go. I can't. I did all of that. And in the end, that I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Oh, contrólenlo.
Don't touch me. Don't anybody come near. Vignette, please, Vignette.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any basis.
Al ver que él es el culpable, Juez queda libre de cargos. Por
Fine
ahora.
by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually...
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review... The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner. During an underwater expedition, Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in... Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria and began to manufacture and market synth.
Lo lamento todo, pero no me interesa el lore de un random. Por eso no estoy diciendo ni una wea.
However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and after exchanging blows with Spina de Rasula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate their president. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect and just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case.
Y en fin, así se acaba el episodio de la chica desaparecida. Ahora vamos a los combates.
The oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding... According to the judgment of the oratrice, guilty.
Culpable.
Guards! Take... Good. It's what...
With that,
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought?
Yippee! We have... He's hurt so many innocent Huh? Are you okay?
Navia.
Demoiselle, you were at
The day our late boss had always hoped for.
Yeah. See, Papa?
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrong. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations
Yo
against me
me
slide.
largo.
Either way.
Please wait just one moment, Mr.
Espera un
Tartaglia.
poco, señor juez.
What now?
None of this has...
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding
Según el
the initial
procedimiento
charge before the
judicial,
trial
debemos
can
aplicarle
conclude.
una sentencia a usted. Porque los cargos son muy grandes.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal?
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
Ese siempre ha sido el procedimiento. Así que le ruego que respete mis leyes, señor juez.
All right. But
Está
this sure is a
bien.
lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just get this over with.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established the guilty party has been identified, and thus we now turn to the oratrice. According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny. What's with this verdict? Is your judge...
Huh? This has never happened before.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbin?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in
¿Qué
this.
significa
The
todo
judgment of the
esto?
oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale is, by law, the final verdict of the court. We must accept the guilt. Guards, please take the
Llévenselo,
suspect
por
into
favor.
custody.
Llévense al juez, por favor. Ay. Tendré que hacerlo por esta vez, Dan, que te ayudaré solo por esta vez. No te acostumbres.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules.
Bankai.
I've got mine too!
He's activating his spell legacy!
Juez, ¿por qué hiciste eso?
I am sorry.
Lo siento.
If you have been wronged, we will find the truth.
Si cometiste un error,
But the
descubrimos
rules of
por
the
qué.
court
Pero en este lugar,
must be upheld.
el patriarcado se debe respetar, juez. Me hiciste un rajuño. Has mejorado. Pero no lo suficiente.
Hey, Monsieur Novelette, what's going on? Shouldn't they have been cleared already?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However,
Lamento
according
todo
to
lo
the
que
rules
pasó en este lugar.
established at the conception of Fontaine's
Sé
court
que él es tu
system,
amigo
the oratrice's judgment
y
is the
tuve que
final
ayudarte,
verdict
pero
of
no
the
acató
court.
mis reglas y tuve que derrotarlo.
All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Solo el arconte Hidro sabe lo que ha ocurrido.
Why are you looking at me? I don't know what happened there.
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's...
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect... Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blindsided.
But the way she looked just now, it was...
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. And, of course, for every performance there is... If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blinded by the superficial appearance of innocence.
Y ahí está mi rival querida y respetada que todos queremos.
Everything he's done, not to mention the danger, all shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble intentions, as well as the absolute correct... Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things...
So she chose to make her escape
Otra
after all,
vez
did
está
she?
subiendo. Ay, querida, ¿qué voy a hacer contigo?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock look into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually has any
Dunker,
idea.
por lo que percibo, al igual que yo, somos dos caras de la misma moneda, la misma persona. Y estoy seguro que al igual que yo tengo que soportar a esta niñita. Tú tienes una esposa con la que has tenido que lidiar, ¿no?
However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal
No se
capacity.
preocupen, investigaré
Just as
todo
I
lo que ha
promised,
ocurrido.
if the judgment has
Y
been
como prometí,
incorrect, we will do
si se
our
juzgó a alguien
utmost to clear
injustamente,
his name.
descubrir el porqué.
Alright. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff.
¡Wow! Fue brutal, ¿eh? Ok. Con esta mirada lista para un duelo de Hydros próximamente, voy a dejar el capítulo hasta aquí. Espero que les haya gustado el videito. Si es por eso me gusta, la suscripción, comenten lo que quieran, suscríbanse que no cuesta nada y nos vemos en el siguiente video. Adiós, gracias por ver. Bye bye. Por cierto, sé que uno de los diálogos del juez no tuvo sentido, pero tenía que utilizar el mismo diálogo del tráiler, no quería cambiar los diálogos, así que usé el diálogo original. Así que no me juzguen. Bye.